What is gwan peeps? What is gwan? It's Valerie's Naturals Oracles. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Wherever you are, I have to adjust this screen so you can see all of it, what's going on. Because today, I'm going to tell you, people, I'm going to tell you a little story, which is not actually a story you might resonate with this. But this morning, I woke up thinking about a situation, and I can't get this situation out of my head, so I'm going to tell it to you. There's somebody who you had in your life, or they could still be in your life, that you had a real affinity to. You loved this person, and I'm not talking, it doesn't have to be romantic, it's just a scenario. For me, it wasn't in the romantic sense. But you really loved this person. You could sit on the phone and talk to this person for hours. Even if you hadn't spoken or seen each other for 6 months, you could do that. They did something to you one day that you felt totally betrayed, triggered, upset by, and it keeps going around and round in your head. You have to ask yourself the question though, because you're meant to forgive and forget it and move on, release that person if they really triggered you that way. But what you have to also ask yourself, when people trigger you, this is your dark night of the soul. These are lessons that were meant to teach you something. This is something you're meant to learn. Do you know that person was there? But you have to ask yourself the question, and I love to divert, don't I? But you have to ask yourself, what triggered you about that situation? What can you learn about that situation? Is it that you can't trust anybody? Is it that you have to be careful what you say to people? Is it that you have to trust your intuition and know how much to tell somebody from what you don't tell somebody? Or is it purely that they're just meant to be in your life for a reason and a season, and you're meant to move on and release that and not harbor the resentment to it? Think about that, people, because I had this up in my head. I woke up with it. I must have been dreaming about it. It must be some kind of premonition that somebody needed to hear that message. But all I keep getting and going around in my head is somebody that you love dearly, you felt like betrayed you, or not even betrayal, that you felt like they turned against you, and you don't understand why they did what they did or why they did it. Was they influenced by other people? Do you know? Please put a comment below if this is making sense to you, and if you have your own scenario. It could be about a love situation, it could be about a dear friend, it could be about a dear relative that you feel the loss of. But are they meant to be just because, even if it's a relative, they say, for example, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. And it's some people think it's wrong for you to disassociate with family. But just because they happen to be family doesn't mean to say they have to be in your life. Is it a wrong thing to say? I don't know. But I don't know why this scenario is coming up. But I just thought I'd mention it to you guys today. And maybe this is what this is about, because I feel that somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that. And the conclusion I come to is that if it triggers you, dig deeper. You have to figure out why it's triggering you. You have to take the lesson. Sorry, I'm nudging you all over the place. You have to take the lesson from it, don't you? You have to understand why it triggered you. And like I said, I've been reading the inner work to my Patreons and the whole audio for the whole book. It's a book, but I read the audio to each and every chapter. It teaches you how to learn the art of detachment. It's all about learning the art of detachment, really, to stop these things triggering you, to stop these things from getting in the way of your progress, to stop these things, to stop you being negative about certain situations. We have to remember sometimes people are just in our life for a reason, for a season. So I don't know why this is here, but Spirit, is there a message here for the collective? Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, thank you for your guidance, protection, assistance. Why is this message here today? And it could be somebody that you was in love with. Honestly, it could be somebody you was in love with. It could be that this person totally betrayed you, took the piss out of you, took you for granted. But you have to understand what's triggering it, because it's like holding up a mirror to yourself. Don't ever blame anybody for any of your circumstances. It's something that you've got to figure out for yourself. You need to go within and figure out what it is that you need to change. And I'm into Nichiren and Buddhism, so automatically the first thing I think, just as a spiritual person, you have to figure out what's triggered you. You have to understand what it is that is causing that problem for you. What is it that's making you angry? Because this is one of the 10 life states. You know, what is making you angry about this situation? What is making you upset about this situation? What lesson can you learn from that situation? Can you stop it from triggering you if it happens again? And know and understand and learn the lesson. It's like karma. It's like it's a karmic cycle thing. You know, you have to learn from that lesson. So I want to know why that is here. Spirit, please give us the message. You know, the cards that come out could be totally unrelated, but I doubt it very much. So let's just see. Yeah. Movement, choices, decisions. Now, what's that in reverse? Let me see. That wasn't in reverse, you know. It's number 2. And this is the actual 2 of, in this deck, this is the 2 of Wands. But it's like movement, choices, and decisions in reverse. Did you think at the time that it wasn't a choice, it wasn't a decision, or wasn't a movement you needed to make? You were decisive about what you wanted to do about that situation. Did you release it? Did you release it? I don't know. But let's get another card out and see what else is coming out here. Yeah. See what I mean? Moving on. Moving on. It's ridiculous, isn't it? This is the swords. This is the 6 of swords in this deck. So not only are you're not decisive about this actual situation, you're moving on. You're the 6 of swords in it. You're just moving from the chaos to the conflict because it triggered you. So you had to figure out what triggered you in that situation. And yeah, this is the Hermit in this deck. This is the Hermit. This is the 9. Okay. This is the. Do you know if that number means anything to you? But we've gone from 2 to 6 to 9. It's progression, isn't it? So let me just figure this out and put these cards in the right place for you, because we need to understand why this is here. You're no longer indecisive about what these people mean to you. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can see this, but for some reason I had that in my head. Did somebody trigger you? Somebody that you could have known all your life. Somebody you could have known all your life, or you could have known all their life. You know, somebody that you could have known all their life. And I don't know why I woke up this morning with this, but what I've got here is you're no longer decisive about what you need to do about these situations. You want to come from the chaos into calm. You might have even gone into hermit mode. Let me see what's at the bottom of that deck, because these are actually tarot cards in themselves, but I like to use them oracles. But let's see what's at the bottom of that deck. Yeah, transformation. Transformation. This is the death card normally. This is transformation, because you've seen the light. You understand, instead of letting these things harbor and fester, you forgive it. You figure out what triggered you. You go within and you resolve that with yourself. It's like going through a dark night of the soul each time you're triggered. But you see the light now. You see the light. Do you understand what I'm saying? Wow. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that and see what cards come out from that. Is it that you had a situation? You had a situation in your life that you love somebody so dearly, but you realize that you're no longer in this indecision. You're no longer in this situation. You no longer needed to make choices. You just said no. You said no. Actually, this is the Pentacles. This is the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. The 2 of Pentacles is about balance. Did somebody? Oh, there you go. Somebody unbalanced you. I apologize, people. This is somebody unbalancing you. This is in reverse. This is like no give and take, no nothing. So you just decided that you wanted to move on from that situation. You moved, and it literally says moving on. And you went into solitude to figure out why this triggered you so much. I don't know why I woke up with this one this morning, but let's figure out why. So let's get some messages out and see where we go from here. Holy Spirit, holy angels, thank you for your guidance, protection, assistance. Please give us the message. Why is this here, Spirit? Why is this here? Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, thank you for your guidance, protection, assistance. Please give me the message. Thank you, Spirit. Please give me the message. What messages do you have for the collective? Thank you. Please tell us why these are here. Why is this that somebody that I've woken up with this situation in my head this morning? Were you triggered? Were you triggered by somebody? Did somebody let you down? Did they betray you? Did they cheat on you? There's all sorts of scenarios here: family, friends, workmates, whatever, colleagues. But for me, I'm going to tell you the truth. It was a close family member. I love that person to pieces. I love that person to pieces. We could sit on the phone for hours. And something happened, okay? And they didn't take my opinion as my opinion. They took it as an affront. They took it as an affront, and I never expected them to behave that way. To the point where they called me some really nasty names. And I thought, I'm not going to go there with them because they're going to regret that. And sure enough, they did regret that, but it was too late by then. It was too late by then. Do you know? And people like to hold grudges. I'm trying hard. I used to be one of those people that used to hold grudges. I used to hold grudges because it was somebody who was so dear to me. It upset me to my core, to the point I was in tears, what they were doing. And it was due to, in my case, it was due to interference. It was due to interference from another family member that I cut off a long time ago, who I wanted nothing to do with in the first place. But they let that person influence them to the point where they came to me with their nonsense. And I don't know how this person feels now, but I've released them. People are in your life for a reason and a season. And regardless whether it's a family member or not, that's their karma. That's their karma. And probably my karma. But I had to learn from that lesson, and I had to learn from it good. It was a good lesson to learn that you can only rely on yourself. And I know it's a horrible thing to say, but you've got to give yourself more self-love. You've got to give yourself more understanding. You've got to understand that not everybody is there for you when you think they are. So I want to know why these cards are here, because somebody, you made up your mind and just moved on from that situation. You went into solitude and you said, no, never again. You said never again. You looked into that situation, you put something to an ending and you transformed it. And you said, I'm moving on from that. You said, I'm moving on from that. And you know, I'm sure all of us can find a situation that this has happened to, but I want to know why this is here, Spirit. Why is this here? Yeah, the Eight of Pentacles come out first of all. You've had to work on yourself. You've had to figure out what it is. You had to figure out what it was. Here's what we've got here. You had to work. This is the Five of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. You had to figure out, work on yourself more to understand why that triggered you. Because at the time, if you'd have done what you really wanted to do, because unfortunately, I was into my spiritual game at the time, but I call it the spiritual game, but it's the spiritual journey at the time, enough to know not to push the situation because it would just have been blown out. And I just tried to put my point of view to this person and they weren't having it. When people are tunnel visioned and don't want to take in another perspective, what would you call that? So instead of doing what you wanted to do, you said, no, I'm going to work on myself instead, because if I do what I really want to do, it'd be an unwise choice. You know, you just let them have it. You let them have what they want to have, because they'll find out the hard way later if they keep going on with that kind of persistence. If they do that, it's not everybody they can do that to and get the same reaction. Because one day somebody's going to turn around and thump them in their mouth, for example. Or one day somebody's going to turn around and tell them exactly who they are, and they're going to feel stupid. And if they will get flashbacks, because that's their karma. It might not take 5 years, it might not take 10 years, but you probably see it in this lifetime. Do you know? What you wanted to do was an unwise thing. So you decided not to, and you went back and worked on yourself. You just worked on yourself. You thought, nah, me and spirit is one. Because you could have went down this route of being defensive. Could have been defending yourself and your actions. But why do this? Why do this and fuel the fire? You're fueling the fire there, literally. Go and work on yourself. Understand why you were triggered. Understand what it is about that situation. What is being mirrored to you? This is what you have to figure out. Because if you take the route of revenge, it's an unwise choice to take the route of revenge. I would never do that. I've had to learn that. Even from before this spiritual game, this spiritual journey, I left it to spirit. Whatever you want to call it, God, spirit. At the time, there's a quote in the Bible that says, "Revenge is mine, saith the Lord," meaning if somebody does you wrong, okay, don't take revenge on them because you're just adding to your own karma. Okay, let spirit deal with it. If they really did do you wrong, spirit will deal with it. Just protect your energy, understand what it is that triggered you, and know that going within is the better choice to figure out what it is that triggered you. What mirror did they bring up to your face? What mirror do you need? In the Buddhist community, we say, what mirror do you need to shine? Because sometimes the mirror is dirty. So when you shine that mirror and clean it, that's you going within and seeing the mirror. And what is it that is mirroring back to you that you have to feel that way? I don't know, people, but let's go further. Yeah, don't take silly actions. Do you know what I mean? Just move on. Take the action to move on. Because this is the Ace of Wands, but take the action to move on. Sometimes we have to take the pain and turn it into power. Take the pain and turn it into power. This is you taking that pain and turning it into power, people. That's what I'm telling you. Take the pain and turn it into power. And here's the last thing you can do. Release. For me, it's a process like this. Yes, I'm upset first of all. Secondly, I think about why am I upset about this situation? I could write a whole thing on this. Why am I upset about this thing? Why did it trigger me? What is it? And then after that is what can you learn from that situation? And if necessary, this is what you have to do last: is walk away from it. Cut it out, release it. This is the Queen of Swords. Cut, delete, karate chop, give it a 1-2. I'm telling you, this is deep. Spirit knew it was doing it. Brought this one to me this morning. It's just something that's just. Normally I don't think that way, but it's almost like this is a message somebody needs to hear. It's all about that dear loved one that you really thought was your dear loved one, and they turned out to be a complete disappointment to you. Somebody who caused you pain, but turn that pain into power. Turn that pain into power. Understand what they're teaching you. Don't see it as a failure. See it as a lesson learned. See it as something you needed to learn. See it as an experience that you needed to have. I should write this whole thing down, shouldn't I? Turn it into a coaching session. I want that one piece, want that one. But let me tell you. Wow. See, now what we've got here is the Eight of Pentacles. You working on yourself, but in other news, in the past, because this is the path. I call this the path, but I'm only taking out 5 cards because I might add more onto them. Okay, just to figure out what's really going on here. But in other news, there's somebody who worked on doing something in the background. What was really an unwise choice. Currently you have to defend yourself. This could be current or current future energy. You have to defend yourself because you want to go on your journey. So you might have to release certain things, but we have to figure out why the 5 of Swords is here. Why is the Pentacles here? So I'm going to figure out what is it you're working on? Why is the work card here? Or why is this here, Spirit? Please tell me. I might just get 1 or 2 cards out and just see what it is. Why is the work card here, Spirit? Why is the work card here? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Somebody definitely was working on something that was an unwise choice. The Devil's come out. Somebody who was in your background was in their devil energy. Okay. They could have been controlled by entities. And it could be somebody. This is the Empress. Let's get 1 more card and I'll determine who that is in a minute. The 10 of Cups. Okay. Here's what we got. Somebody was working on their devil energy. Somebody was working to doing things in the basically this is somebody doing something in the wrong way. And this is you, the empress, the boss bitch, the boss man. Who's nothing but the happiness and light. This person thought they could treat you, work on trapping you, because this is about the devil sometimes is about trapping. This person was working on trapping you in a situation. They wanted to trap it because they realized you was happiness to them, but they were insecure. When you see this kind of thing, this is about insecurity. This is another story of somebody who did you wrong. Turn your pain into power. This is somebody who did you wrong, who did something in the background within their devil entity, tried to trap you to them. Okay, and they did something in their devil energy, knowing that you was the love of their life. You was the love of this person's life. You was nothing but happiness to this person, but they didn't see it that way. They wanted you, and they knew what it was, or they knew what they were doing, but they couldn't help themselves. So you had to go into this. They did something that was an unwise choice. It was nothing but conflict and chaos. Do you see this conflict and chaos? Somebody thought that they can do this to you, right? But you was enlightened enough to look, take the whole picture in, and understand where this person is coming from. Release it. But let's flick some cards on that and see why that is definitely. Why is the Five of Swords here? What did they do, Spirit? Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, please give me the message. What did they do, Spirit? Please tell me. Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, thank you for your guidance, protection, assistance. Please give me the message. Thank you. Please give me the message. Oh, they did something in the background and they were sitting and waiting to see what was happening, but it caused their karma instead. Yeah, and because things have now changed for you. Here's what we got here. The rest of it is kind of self-explanatory to me, but I thought I'd explain this one. The Five of Swords is a weird one to have after the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, and it looks as if, yeah, this person was definitely in their devil entity. And it's almost like they planted some seeds, or they were trying to reap what they sow. They could have done some stuff in the background, which was an unwise choice. And now they were waiting in the background. This is past energies, though. They were waiting to see what happens. Do you know what I mean? But instead of what happened, you did return to sender, Miss Say, return to sender, and the justice came in. Not that the minute you uttered return to sender, what happened is karma has a way of working itself out. Karma in everything in this life is about balance. Now, if somebody did you wrong, that was imbalance. That was imbalance. They went against free will, okay, which caused you pain. For example, they cheated on you. Did they tell when somebody cheats on you, it's like they didn't tell you what's going on. That is interfering with free will. If the person told you that they were seeing somebody else, that way it's your choice then. And then whatever karma comes out of that comes out of that. But because the person didn't tell you what they were doing in the background, that is classed as cheating. That is classed as this is collecting karma. When people do things like that, it's collecting karma. Okay. If you're not upfront with somebody, okay. When I met a soul connection, I said to them at the time I was married. I said, I'm married. You know, I'm being upfront with you. I'm married, but I'm separated. And so that is what it is. I was true to my word. I don't see any sense in lying about a situation. Why would you lie about that? Especially if you're separated. Why would you lie about that? But some people would literally go into relationships knowing full well they're married and not telling the person they're moving towards. Do you know, if you don't give people's choices, it basically you're going against their free will. And this is what's happening here. So justice is kicking in. Karma is kicking in. Come on, yum somebody body. And the second part of this karma is because they did what they did, they now don't have access to you. And therefore they're seeing you change. They're seeing you close cycles. They're seeing you move on. This is you moving on. You get what I'm saying, collective? And with the moving on, you've actually started protecting yourself, protecting your energy, protecting your space. You've been defending yourself because you've got bigger fish to fry. You're moved on and doing what you're doing. Okay. And I'm not saying that you stop talking to these people completely, but what I'm saying to you is sometimes you need to release these people out of your energy. You need to release these people out of your energy. And when people start doing these things about candle magic and this and that, and the devil knows, oh, you have the power to do this yourself. And you know what that power is? Time, 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 time. Time is the master, but time can be disaster if you don't care. That's an old reggae tune, okay? Time, time. It's really old. It's almost like ska era, but we're talking 60s, 70s. But anyway, sometimes you have to give it to divine, release it to divine, let divine deal with it, you know, because sometimes if you have these people still in your energy, sometimes it's not good. Let them get on with their karma. Don't get involved in their karma. Let them get on with it because things are changing for you. Okay. And I'm not to say that you're not going to go back with this person. This could be a new action they're taking towards you. This is future energy. This is a new action somebody's taking towards you. But we've got the Queen of Swords here. She's this could be as simple as putting your point across and putting it across that you mean business. And if that person crosses a line, you know how to chop, delete, karate chop. But this could be as severe as releasing people out your life, no longer talking to them, putting up barriers, blocking them, whatever. And this is what you might have done. Do you know? This is a collective read. This is daily spiritual tea. But the message I woke up with this morning is a download for real, for real. It's almost like, and do you know, nothing like this entered my head because I've already, whatever the situation with me, I've already released it a long time ago, and it's a couple of people. I released it and I've forgiven it and I've analyzed it and I've see what triggered me about those situations and everything else. Okay, and I've forgiven it and moved on. But for that to come up with me this morning, someone needed to hear that message and someone needs to know that instead of mourning the loss and trying to get revenge, don't try and get revenge. It's almost like I should call this something like Are You Seeking Revenge? Because this is a whole message about not doing that. Let spirit deal with it, let divine deal with it, let God deal with it. Like I said, there is a quote in the Bible. Revenge is mine, saith the Lord. I don't, even before this journey, like I said, I don't never take revenge on anything. If someone does you wrong, okay, and you stepped up with the pure light and you came with good intentions, trust and believe karma is coming for them. They're collecting karma. Karma will pay a visit. Karma is a bitch best served cold. You see, like for example, and I've said this before, karma love to play games. Like, when these people are collecting karma, like I've said this before, I haven't said it in a while. But karma can work like this. Okay, for example, if someone cheated on you and you was totally innocent in that situation, okay, guess what's gonna happen to them? They're going to find somebody that they think is their ideal person. And that person's going to cheat on them. But not only is that person going to cheat on them, this is how karma works and it serves it up cold. That person's going to cheat with your brother or your best friend or that colleague that you like at work. That person is going to cheat on somebody so the pain is 10 times worse. Karma serves it up cold. Another example is people suddenly start going into depressive states. People start getting, and it's a horrible thing to say, people start getting mental illnesses. And that's usually because they're casting evil spells or evil intentions and stuff like that. Their body is just not the same. They just broke up and all sorts of nonsense. They go from being this cheerful person to being this totally negative. Do you know what I mean? These are people that suddenly get ill for no reason. Or you get the third type of person that they're like, they wake up in the morning and karma, they don't realize that it's karma that's doing this to them, but it's like they wake up in the morning, instead of getting out of bed, they fall out of bed. All right. And I've said this before. They're going down the stairs, they fall down the stairs. They go in the kitchen, their toast is burnt. They're late for work. They jump in the car's not starting, and then when they finally get to work, they're late, and it's a mark against their job. And this karma accumulates because of things they're doing. They're continuously doing, but I don't see it as karma. They just see it as an unfortunate event, but it's not. The first thing is you should wake up in the morning happy to be alive. This is where you should be lying there saying, I'm so grateful for that sleep. Thank you for waking me up in the morning. That was wonderful, because sleep is the closest thing to death. This is when your spirit likes to roam. That's another subject we could go into. But, you are connecting spiritually with your higher self when you're sleeping. So it's almost like, this is why sometimes you wake up with, people don't understand that. This is why you wake up with premonitions in the morning. You see things in the morning, or when you wake up first thing and you start scribbling and you start. This is why I always say to my people, them, have a pen and piece of paper next to you. I could go deep on all these subjects, people, but this is all about turning your pain into power. Turn that pain into power. Don't ever try and get revenge for something that somebody did you. Analyze it. Know what the lesson is from it. Don't ever see it as a failure, and turn that pain into power. Please turn that pain into power. And in a serious note, this is deep. This is a message somebody needed to hear. So I'm going to leave it there, people, because that's too much. If it resonates with you, let me know. Put a comment down below in the comments. Put a comment in. Please subscribe. Hit the alert bell so you know when I'm going to do another video. I do these on most days. I don't do them weekends because I've got to have some time to myself. But I do these most days. And I do longer videos on different subjects, at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I do the live zodiac signs on a Friday. So please join me. But if you really resonate with this and you'd like to support the channel, there is links in the description below. Or even better, come and join me on Patreon. So until next time, people, take care.